everyone, we are here at the Norisring in Nuremberg, Germany, and we saw a fantastic race yesterday. Now we're very excited for the qualifying to begin. It's the fourth race weekend, so let's see what these guys can do and let's burn some rubber.
Certainly will. We're looking forward to burning some rubber as we go qualifying for race number 2 here in DTM at the Norisring, this fantastic 2.3 kilometer street circuit, which is situated, as you can see, just on the outskirts of the Nuremberg city. A beautiful city and a beautiful racing track as well. Absolutely love this place. Some wonderful images of the city centre then. That has been a temporary circuit for one weekend every year for many, many years. Drivers love coming here. It's the shortest circuit on the agenda, and it is effectively Germany's Monaco. Always big crowds to enjoy the race action, and they have made their way into the circuit already. Not only to enjoy the race from DTM a little bit later this afternoon, but also the qualifying, which can be just as thrilling. It's such a short qualifying session, just 20 minutes the drivers have to set the grid for race number 2 to come this afternoon. The race yesterday won by Eduardo Mortara ahead of the P2 driver, which was Gary Paffett, and P3 went the way of Marco Wittmann. Local driver, of course, from Fürth, just down the road from Nuremberg, so lots of home support for him. In free practice, as you can see, Audi found something because Mike Rockenfeller was quickest ahead of Edo Mortara and Paul de Resta and Daniel Juncker-Deyer and Gary Paffett and Nico Muller, Loic Duval and the rest of the order, as you can see on screen. As I say very regularly, the one thing is that you can look at the race results from race number 1 at any particular circuit. That does not necessarily give you a form guide for race number 2. So, a 15 race, no podium in 15 races at the Norisring for Mike Rockenfeller, so he would love to be able to achieve that in race 2, which gets underway later this afternoon following this qualifying session. To give himself the best chance of a podium, of course, he needs a good quali. Lucas Auer and Edo Mortara, the two Mercedes-Benz drivers. Well, 3 there because Daniel Juncker-Deyer, that third in that train of cars just behind the lights at the temporary pit lane here at the Norisring, and Gary Paffett waiting to move in behind the Marco Wittmann BMW that you can see there queued up as well. Timo Glock still in the garage, as you can see. Timo backstage here. All the garages, in fact everything here at the Norisring is a temporary setup because it's only one weekend every year that this circuit gets converted into this racing track. So engineers just checking with Edo Mortara before he is out for his qualifying session. We're about a minute or so away from the green light going on and qualifying getting underway. Ahead of the Edo Mortara car was that of Lucas Auer. So as you can see, the pit lane is very busy. The grandstands are very busy as well with expectant race fans, and the Audi Motorsport team principal, Dieter Gas, then is on the pit wall to oversee everything that goes on during qualifying here at the Norisring. Leans back and looks down the pit lane, and there is Jens Marquardt from BMW. He too, he'll be buoyed with Marco Wittmann's pace yesterday. The BMW Motorsport director, Jens Marquardt. Ernst Moser from Audi Sport Team Phoenix. Also looking on, just waiting for the 35 seconds to elapse before the light goes green at the end of the pit lane and gets this qualifying session underway. First driver out on track is going to be the young Austrian Lucas Auer, who's had a couple of P2s, but a win has escaped him so far this season. Will he be able to put it right today? Well, qualifying again will give him a very good chance. Marco Wittmann then
8 timed laps
here at the Norisring. His results, as you can see on screen, and he did take a
green light in
P3 yesterday. Was a winner at Budapest in that race 2. So we have a green light now and the cars are out now with such a short lap, just 2.3 kilometers. It takes them a couple of laps at least to get the tyres and brakes up to temperature. And qualifying generally seems to fall into two parts. The drivers will all go out and try and bank an early lap, then come back in and then go back out again towards the end of the session as Arno Zenzen from Audi Sport Team Rosberg looks on from the pit wall as well. And there is Uli Fritz, team principal of Mercedes-Benz. He's pretty pleased with his car's performance thus far at the Norisring. Timo Glock then has made it out of the garage and lines up behind Jamie Green, ready for him to get out onto the track as well. So just 2.3 kilometers, and you could be forgiven for thinking that it's basically just a couple of straights, 2 hairpins and a chicane in the middle of the back straight. Well, it's actually quite a lot more technical than that, to be honest with you, this Norisring circuit. So Lucas Auer vigorously weaves from side to side, as does Eduardo Mortara and Daniel Juncadella. And Marco Wittmann as well, all trying to generate some temperature into those tyres before we get meaningful lap times. Gary Paffett and Paul di Resta there very much together in their Mercedes-Benz cars, and we're on board with Paul di Resta now, this fabulous splitter cam which shows the public road surface that is the track surface here at the Norisring. They're braking now for the Grundig turn into that, and it's here where if you run out wide, track limits are delineated by concrete barriers. Into the Cholet now. Great lap to bring you with Paul di Resta into the Cholet then, and then out where you almost clip the Armco, then run off the tarmac onto the paved concrete area to the outside, and then head down towards the Dutzendijk turn, which is the other hairpin here. You can see as he brakes now, turns in, tries to get the apex of the turn again. On the exit of this turn, greets a very big and non-moving concrete wall. So di Resta now in 4th gear, 5th gear, got one more gear to go now, absolutely flat over the timing line into 6th gear, and then starts reducing speed, braking then into the Grundig turn, and a complete lap with Paul di Resta with this splitter cam. And thanks very much to the crew for bringing us that, because that is fantastic to watch. In replay here then, lock-up coming from Bruno Spengler ahead of Lucas Auer. Lucas Auer trying to avoid. Nico Müller is the current fastest, but very early days yet in this qualifying session. Nico Müller, René Rast, Robin Frins now goes quickest, as does Lucas Auer. We're still in the 50s in terms of time. Expect it to get into the 49s and potentially the 48s as well. So we watch Lucas Auer in this short, sharp qualifying session where we have only just under 17 seconds left. And Lucas Auer then, who now has gone purple in Sector 1, quicker than anyone. He's got Robin Frins ahead of him. He's out of the Cholet now. This is where they run off the tarmac and onto that almost banked concrete paved area. Heading down towards the Dutzendijk turn now. Lucas Auer turns in. Kisses the apex, avoids kissing the concrete wall on the exit. Loic Duval is quickest, 50.587, but we've had 2 better than anyone's from Lucas Auer. This is going to be P1 surely for Lucas Auer. No, it's not. It was a 49.705, but we've seen a 49.659 now from Robin Frins. This is Mike Rockenfeller, who, as I mentioned, was quickest in free practice, just controlling the car on the exit of the turn. Great onboard shot here. So he was quicker than anyone through Sector 1, a personal best through Sector 2. Just make some adjustment there to the brake bias, bringing a little bit more braking force to the front end of the car. Through the Grundig turn he goes then on this lap, but we're staying with Mike Rockenfeller. Gives it a footfall, the back end of the car reacts, and he releases just a little bit of the front braking pressure, goes into the Cholet now, first right, then left, avoiding the Armco, avoiding the concrete barriers, and that was half a lap with Mike Rockenfeller. Gary Paffett is the man on the charge at the moment in the all-blue Mercedes-Benz. He's gone pink in both sectors so far, so heads towards the timing line now. Gary Paffett, who was 7th fastest, this is going to be a quick time from him. But it doesn't alter his 7th. He lost it all in the final sector, so he stays P7. Robin Frins is quickest with a 49.659, but Augusto Farfus now goes fastest with a 49.019, ahead of Joel Eriksson, who is at P2. We're with Nico Muller, who's done PBs in both sectors so far, as he heads towards the timing line now, and he goes fastest, and he is the first to show in the 48s, a 48.368, but here comes Lucas Auer. And Lucas Auer now goes P1 with a 48.331, having taken 3 100ths out of the previous best time from Nico Muller. This is Gary Pavitt. Look, purple in both Sector 1 and Sector 2. This is going to be a good lap from Gary Pavitt, the British driver then. And sure enough, he goes quickest, and it's the first sub 148 time, because he goes 47.956. The first sub 48 time then from Gary Pavitt, 47.956. Marco Wittmann now, the local driver, and this is Bruno Spengler. So 47.956, the best lap so far. The lap record sits with Bruno Spengler as 47.846, which was set last year, 2017. Pavitt 47.956. Then it's Lucas Auer, then it's Marco Wittmann, then it is Bruno Spengler. Only 2 drivers in the 47s, then being both Mercedes drivers, Gary Pavitt and Lucas Auer. Is Paul di Resta going to join that party as well, as he heads towards the timing line now? It's a 47.888 from Paul di Resta. He goes quicker than anyone. So Paul di Resta then 47.888 in the number 3 Mercedes-Benz, which means it's Paul di Resta, Gary Pavitt, then it's Marco Wittmann, and then Lucas Auer, this man who's done a PB in Sector 1. Sector 2 not so good for Lucas Auer. Almost brushes the concrete as Gary Pavitt goes purple in Sector 1. Once again, he's on a real charge here. Paul di Resta is currently the fastest. It's di Resta, Pavitt, Wittmann, Auer at the moment, with just under 13 minutes of the qualifying remaining. So a PB from Gary Pavitt in Sector 2. This could be a new provisional pole, but it's Edo Mortara first, but then it is Gary Pavitt who does a 47.739. 47.739, which is quicker than Bruno Spengler's track record. So Gary Pavitt on a real charge here for Mercedes-Benz. It's looking good for Mercedes-Benz, actually, with Pavitt, then Mortara, then di Resta. In replay, then super slow-mo of the Gary Pavitt car here at the Norisring in Nuremberg. He's sitting very good in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. He's the British driver. Here's Edo Mortara then. Is he going to respond to 47.886, his best time? And that's enough for P2 at the moment. This is Daniel Juncadella just behind the Edo Mortara car. So Daniel Juncadella then, and we're on board with Marco Wittmann as he heads towards the timing line. Stays P4 for Marco Wittmann. So it's Mercedes, 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 then it's 2 BMWs before Mercedes, BMW, BMW, Mercedes, BMW. The best of the Audis is Nico Muller, who is currently P11. So you can never read too much into the free practice results. Looked very good for Audi, because Mike Rockenfeller had found something from somewhere, but he's currently only P12 in this qualifying session. Pavitt with a 47.739, the fastest driver. What have we got left? Some 11 and a quarter minutes of this qualifying session. There's Timo Glock, currently P8 in the all-yellow machine. You can see there just ahead of the car of Eduardo Mortara through the speed trap at 237 kilometers per hour. Joel Eriksson, the rookie BMW driver, into DTM for this season, and there is Mike Rockenfeller's car in the garage. So
okay, Rocky, for the next one we'll go for 10 or 11 flying laps, okay?
There you go, Mike Rockenfeller being told for the next part of qualifying 10 or 11 flying laps. With the laps in the 47s and 48s, a very, very quick lap here. Here comes the current leader of the qualifying, and that is Gary Pavitt. He's 47.739 time, the fastest of anyone. He's the only one in the 47.7s. We've then got another 6 drivers in the 47 8s and 9s before we get everyone else in the 48s.
Bit of a problem.
So listening into Timo Glock's team radio, all we heard was a bit of a problem. Let's hear some more. No. That's a shame. Would have liked to have heard the conclusion of that message for Timo Glock, who's currently 8th fastest with a 48.007, so just 7 1,000ths out of being into the 47s. So on board with the Timo Glock car as it's pushed back into the temporary garages here at the Norisring. So Paffett leading, 47.739. It all goes very quiet with just Rennie Rast and Jamie Green out there on the track at the moment. And then all of a sudden, we know that Mike Rockenfeller's going to go for 10 or 11 flying laps as he makes his way out of the pit lane. So too does Nico Muller. Robin Frinn's car is in the pit lane, as you can see, car number 4, which for a moment led the qualifying session. New set of Hankooks going on to the Robin Frinn's car. And the car is released off the jacks. Here comes Gary Paffett, who's currently P1 in the qualifying session. And some super slow-mos here of Lucas Auer, Bruno Spengler. Gary Paffett going to be reported to the stewards of the meeting for blocking. Interesting. That is a super slow-mo of Edo Mortara, and now Daniel Juncadeo in car number 23. 8.5 minutes is all that we have left in this qualifying session for DTM Race 2 to come up in about an hour or so after qualifying. Make sure you join us for that if you can. Bruno Spengler then. He goes out. Ahead of him goes Augusto Farfus. And their young DTM fan enjoying the cars on track. So Paffett, Mortara, Di Resta, a 3-strong Mercedes sweep in the top 3 places at the moment. Then it's BMW with Wittmann and Spengler, then another Mercedes with Lucas Auer. Then it's Philipp Eng for BMW, Timo Glock for BMW, before we find Nico Muller for Audi, who is P9. So out of the Scholler S's goes the Gary Paffett car, runs off that tarmac onto that almost banked part of the concrete paving that you can see. Slows for the Dutzendijk turn. We're on board with Marco Wittmann. Local driver turns in. Huge concrete barriers to the outside, and the cars get within millimetres, and that will be a repeat of where they considered that Gary Paffett may have been blocking. He couldn't have got any further out to the right-hand side, truthfully, because there's a concrete barrier there, so I'm sure he will defend his position pretty robustly in discussion with the stewards. So 47.739, the fastest time so far. That's the one that's got to be beaten in this, the almost second part of qualifying. It's almost put into 2 parts. And we've got the final 6.5 minutes now where the track becomes very busy with every car out on track. Augusto Farfus then for BMW in the number 15 car. He's best finish so far this season, a P7 in the second race at Budapest. And Augusto Farfus then is currently 12th fastest with a time of 48.239. Cars still weaving from side to side. It does take a couple, if not more, laps to generate the temperature into the tyres here at the Norisring in this fantastic splitter cam that we're on board with now. Down through the turn, and then the unforgiving concrete on the exit of the Dutzendijk turn, which gives you no room for manoeuvre. The track limits here are not an issue generally because the track limit's delineated by either concrete barriers or Armco. So in now to the Grundig turn, down through the gearbox, turns in. This is Mike Rockenfeller. PB through sector 1 for driver number 99, who's currently P13. See, in free practice he was quick. He's some 3/10ths down on his cumulative time in comparison to the 47.739 from Gary Paffett. So Mike Rockenfeller, we know he's got 10 or 11 flying laps. That's what his engineer said. So Mike Rockenfeller then crosses the timing line now and goes for another hot lap. He's got no one ahead of him. So we run the clock on Mike Rockefeller as he brakes now for the Grundig turn. Make sure that his exit is as close to the concrete barrier as he dares. 3/10 down, as you can see, and 3/10 here at Norisring is a huge amount of time. Just 4.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. So the Mike Rockefeller car then has completed Sector 1 and Sector 2. Nico Muller has done a personal best through Sector 1, as you can see, because the box has turned green for Nico Muller as Mike Rockefeller crosses the timing line and does not improve. He's some 2.9 down. That's a huge amount. Nico Muller, it remains P9. So no one troubling Gary Pavitt at the moment. In fact, from the timing screen that here in the commentary studio, no one going purple at all. So with under 4 minutes remaining, driver's going to have to get the hurry up. Philip Eng, who looked very good in qualifying yesterday, he's gone green in Sector 1. That's a personal best for Philip Eng. We're looking at his BMW there. He's still almost 2/10 down on the 47.739 fastest time. So Philip Eng heads towards the timing line now and doesn't improve. Timo Glock, we're on board with now. He makes some adjustments to the brake bias. Brakes for the Duesendijk turn. Out, glances almost the concrete barriers and tries to make the run to the line as short as possible. And Timo Glock then does improve a couple of places, goes up to P6. Daniel Juncker-Deyer now is P4 with a 47.932 from Daniel Juncker-Deyer. So looking very good for Mercedes-Benz here, who occupy the top 4 places at the moment. Here comes Bruno Spengler for BMW, currently P6. He's done a PB through Sector 1. Sector 2 didn't turn any colours, but it doesn't matter because he moves up the order by 2 places to P4. Lucas Auer, PB, Sector 1, Sector 2. The young Austrian racer then in car number 22. Heads towards the timing line now. Lucas Auer was P8 and now goes P2, just 9/100ths behind Gary Pavitt. And this is Timo Glock heading towards the timing line. Daniel Juncker-Deyer now goes fastest with a 47.705. So Pavitt will need to respond. Juncker-Deyer quickest, 47.705. Robin Frins is out. So they're the number 4 car, which brings the session to a close. So why did Robin Frins end up there? You can see smoke coming out of the, as we look at it, the left-hand side of his Audi. So Robin Frins makes his way back now, and with just 1 3/4 minutes left in the session, I'm suspecting, yes, you can see the clock has been reset. They're going to give the drivers another 3 minutes, which by the time you've got up to temperature, well, I just wonder whether Daniel Juncker-Deyer might have done enough for pole position. So Robin Frins here, at the bottom of your picture, runs out wide. So presumably a fault with the car, and that's where he stops it. Well, immediately the car gets stopped on the runoff area like that. The race control have to suspend the session because of where the car is situated. So the restart is going to be at 11:34, so in 5 minutes time from now, and there will be merely 3 minutes on the clock. So crucial thing here is to be at the start of the queue out of the pit lane, I would suggest, so that you can get the clearest track advantage by having no one ahead of you. There you can see confirmation of the restart, 11:34 local time, and it's now 11:29 and 40 seconds. Now, that was the car that caused the stoppage. Robin Frins in the number 4 car. He's currently sitting P15 in the qualifying chart. So a real short, sharp dash then, with a 3-minute hot lap qualifying. Takes me back to the 3-lap pole position shootout we used to have in DTM some years ago. Now, interestingly, right at the head of the queue, I can see from the map that I have on the screen ahead of me is Lucas Auer. So Lucas Auer, the Mercedes-Benz driver who was P3, is right at the start of the pit lane there. You can see the smoke coming out of the Robin Frinn's car, which caused him to have to stop the car. So obviously a fault with the car, and he stopped the car, but by dint of where he stopped the car, and in fairness, cannot be blamed. Wherever you stop on the Norisring, it's always going to bring out the suspension of the session. And there is the Robin Frinn's car in the Abt garage. So as the session was stopped then, the quickest was Daniel Juncker-Deyer with a 47.705. And look at that. It's Juncker-Deyer, Paffett, Auer, De Resta and Mortara, top 5 places, all Mercedes-Benz. Then we find Spengler, Wittmann, Ericsson, Glock, Eng, all BMW. Best of the Audis, Nico Müller, just ahead of Jamie Green. Then it's Augusto Farfus, Mike Rockenfeller, Robin Frinn's, Lloyd Duval, Rennie Raston, Pascal Wehrlein, really surprisingly, right at the back of the pack. As I'd mentioned just a few moments ago, Lucas Auer has made sure he's in the best possible position by being at the head of the queue, ahead of Edo Mortara and Jamie Green, because for 3 minutes that's going to become a very, very busy 2.3 kilometres with everyone vying to set a good time or trying to increase where they are in qualifying at the moment. But the track is going to be just so busy. Lucas Auer is going to have the best opportunity to perhaps move himself up from P3. It was a 47.834 from Lucas Auer. And we are just a minute and 3/4 away from restart of this qualifying session. On board with Timo Glock, who's currently 9th fastest. And there you can see the back end of the Bruno Spengler car, who is the best of the BMWs, going from P6 at the moment. Marco
So it's
Wittmann.
Juncker-Deyer in front, Paffett, Auer, Di Resta, Mortara, and then Bruno is just in front of you with a 100, and then US 7.
What a shame with Paffett, to be honest. That was such a good lap. What a shame. Was 2 tenths in front, minimum.
Now that's Marco Wittmann.
Yeah, that's racing it for now. So I just calculated. I think it will be only 2 flying laps, so it's worth a try. Let's see what we get.
So Marco Wittmann was referring to the situation
Have a clean lap.
where he felt that he was blocked by Gary Paffett. And in fairness, Gary is going to be reported to the stewards of the meeting for potentially blocking. So there is Jamie Green.
3 time lapse is 4 seconds, so it's very unlikely that we get 3. Probably 2.
So 2 or 3 laps.
2.
2 or 3 laps maximum. That's what we're going to get.
Compare positive, and the margin is 4 seconds to 3. But I think this 4 seconds we will lose exiting the pit lane already.
Yeah, I could try and push and try and overtake on the outlap.
So Jamie Green then going to try and push and overtake on the outlap to give himself some clear track space. That's what that's what's going to be critical to nearly all the drivers, with the exception of Juncker-Deyer. With the exception of Lucas Auer, who's right at the head of the field. So just 50 seconds. Although, actually, we've got the green light now, so we're going just a little bit early. But the clock has begun to count down, so Jamie Green knows he's got to push right from the outlap. In fact, every driver's got to push from the outlap. Try and find some clean space on the track. We've only got 2.5 minutes. It's 2, if not 3, flying laps around the Norisring then in the final stages of this, what has been quite a dramatic qualifying session. Hey, look, we're on the telly. So, with just 2.3 kilometres, it's such a very busy track. So Mortara and Auer in very clever and got to the end of the pit lane. Almost immediately the session was suspended, so that being the best possible opportunity when the session did recommence, gives themselves a clear space on the track. So 47.705, and with 2 or 3 laps, you know, got to bring the tyres up to temperature. It's going to be very difficult. All smiles from Jens Marquardt down there. There is Bruno Spengler, who's the best of the BMWs, who's currently P6 with 1.5 minutes of the session remaining. And there you can see Dieter Gas looking on, probably with some concern, because the best of the Audis is P11 with Nico Müller. Here's Mike Rockenfeller and Nico Müller, all trying to space themselves out to give them some clear space on the track. Uli Fritz in the Mercedes pit wall then. One of his drivers, Daniel Juncadella, the fastest with a 47.705. Gary Paffett, 47.739. And there is the current provisional pole sitter, Daniel Juncadella. Just 50 minutes remaining. As Daniel Juncadella crosses the timing line, he will have this lap only before the session is brought to a close. So Lucas Auer on a flying lap now. He won't get another one unless he's able to cross the timing line and I think he will have done enough to be able to do that. He'll get another lap out of this because he'll cross the timing line before the checkered flag comes out to bring the end to the session. Sure enough, Lucas Auer does. This will be his last lap. Same too for Edo Mortara and Jamie Green and René Rast and Mike Rockenfeller, Nico Müller. Gary Paffett is just going to get over the timing line in time to do another lap. Anyone that crosses the timing line after the checkered flag is going to be out of luck. So Lucas Auer has bailed out of the lap. Edo Mortara most certainly hasn't. Edo Mortara is pushing, but you can see Sector 1 wasn't brilliant for Edo Mortara. Jamie Green also charging too. Not sure we're going to see any improvements from this final 3-minute burst of qualifying here at the Norisring. So the checkered flag will be out. The session is over, and Edo Mortara then does not improve. Jamie Green is P12. Mike Rockenfeller stays P15. Here comes Augusto Farfus trying to make it as short as possible, P14. Timo Glock P9. Then it's Philip Eng P10. Joel Eriksson just crossing the line as well. This is super slow-mo of Edo Mortara. So Daniel Juncadella is going to be the pole sitter. Back end of Edo Mortara's car stepping out, and just a small connection with the concrete wall. Just there. First front, then back. And there you could see he had to dial on the opposite lock to try and control the car, and then does make glancing contact with the concrete barriers, which do not give here at the Norisring. So Daniel Juncadella then, with a 47.705, will find himself in pole position. Alongside him will be Gary Paffett, subject of course to him being reported for that potential blocking on Marco Wittmann. But Danny Juncadella then. Good time for Mercedes. Juncadella, Paffett, Auer, Di Resta, Mortara. The first 5 drivers are all Mercedes-Benz drivers. Top 3, Juncadella, Paffett, and Lucas Auer. Here's confirmation then. And then P4, it's Paul Di Resta, then it's Edo Mortara, Bruno Spengler, Marco Wittmann, Joel Eriksson, P8, Timo Glock, and Philip Eng rounding out the first 5 rows of the grid as we will see it. Then it's Nico Müller, Jamie Green, René Rast, Augusto Farfus, Mike Rockenfeller, Robin Frins, Loic Duval, and Pascal Wehrlein. So it all goes quiet at the Norisring as we get a super slow-mo of our pole sitter for race 2, Daniel Juncadella. happy about that lap, and he should be as well. Great lap from Daniel Juncadella, 47.705. It'll be pole position this afternoon. The race gets underway just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Local time now is around about 20 to 12. Gary Paffett and Lucas Auer there. A little kick from Lucas on the car. So Daniel Juncadella and Lucas Auer then congratulated by Ollie Kapfenstein there. So that was why Lucas Auer just gave a little kick to his car to see what damage had been done as the cars had rolled into each other there, as you can see. So the drivers will pose for the photographs, which is going to be a good photograph for Mercedes-Benz, isn't it? P1, Daniel Juncadella, P2, Gary Paffett, P3, Lucas Auer from that qualifying session. An all-Mercedes trio. It's an all-Mercedes top 5. And there you can see Lucas just checking the integrity of the front of his car after it had... the Daniel Juncadella car had rolled into the back of it. So there is Lucas Auer. To the right of your picture is Oliver Kapfenstein, one of the PR from Mercedes-Benz, still sporting that really rather trendy beard, which I'm told his wife is very much in favour of, despite me having said he ought to have a shave. And there you can see just the little damage to the front of the Lucas Auer little aero flick there. Okay, here comes our grid for race 8 of the season, which will be Daniel Juncadella and Gary Paffett going from P1 and P2. The front row of the grid is all Mercedes-Benz, as is row 2 with Lucas Auer and Paul di Resta going from P3 and P4. The Mercedes party is broken up by Bruno Spengler from P6, but he has Edo Mortara ahead of him, P5. Then 2 BMWs together, Marco Wittmann and Joel Eriksson. It's P7 and P8. Marco Wittmann feeling he was blocked in quali by Gary Paffett. Timo Glock and Philipp Eng are P9 and P10. Then it's Nico Muller and Jamie Green. 2 Audis together on the 6th row of the grid before we find René Rast and Augusto Farfus, P13 and P14. To the next row, we find Mike Rockenfeller and Robin Frins, P15 and P16. And to the final row of the grid, where we find Loic Duval and Pascal Wehrlein, 48.477 for Pascal Wehrlein, as the crowds make their way potentially for some refreshment before the DTM race to come a little bit later. As we look at the top 3 now, Lucas Auer goes from P3. Gary Paffett is P2, and of course the pole sitter, it's the Spanish driver, Daniel Juncadella, P1.
Congratulations, it's your first pole, and Daniel, you did a fantastic job. How does it feel to be on pole, and what about victory for the race?
Let's go step by step. So, I mean, it's a big relief for me because it have been so many years in DTM, coming back this year, and I think my best qualifying was 5th. And I really never knew why I didn't get it right. I just not getting it right. And this season I'm working a lot on myself, on everything, and it's working out. And you can see, I mean, today was perfect, and that's how it has to be in DTM. We have 18 super quick drivers. I'm 17th in the championship right now, and I'm on pole. So, I mean, this shows you the level of the championship is great.
Absolutely. I hope you get it right for the race. Thank you so much. And that was the qualifying, and I hope you'll also be watching the race in just a bit. And here are the highlights of the qualifying. Enjoy.